Why did Kirby Dach have one of the worst plus minuses in the league last year at minus 29? Well, let's have a look to see what we can learn. So the first category of plays are blind backhand giveaways. Here's an example where he gives it away and the other team ends up being able to score. So taking a closer look, you'll see that he'll take a second to look up like he just did, and then he'll look back down at the puck before making the pass. This is a common mistake when you're making a backhand pass. You want to make sure the puck is really well settled on your stick, so you look back down to make it, but by then things have changed. And also, if you're not looking where you're going to pass, you can often kind of miss where you're going to pass, which is what happens here. Let's have another example. Kirby's over here, he gets it. He knows he's got a player here, but in this position, you don't have great visibility into the play. So you can't see all the way back here because his head is now actually looking down, and even when he looked up to peek over his shoulder, you can't see all the way back. Passes like this are just pretty dangerous. And it gets intercepted, and then they end up scoring. Here's a third example. He's over here, and he'll look up for a second to see what's happening here, and then he'll look back down at the puck again. And see now his head is here. He can't see what's going on over here while he's making this pass. So he ends up giving it away. This player was able to read that pass, and then they're going to score. So backhand passes are something that's really advanced. It's something that you should only do when you're absolutely certain about it, especially long backhand passes. There's just too many chances to get intercepted. The next category of the types of goals that were scored are what I'd say are kind of, he's just not working hard enough. So let's have a look. He's over here, he's got the puck, he's in a puck battle. And you'll notice that the other guy's stick is kind of around him. And then he's gonna get a push, and it's gonna cause him to fall. Okay, so now he's on his way down, he's falling. And when you fall to the ice like this, your team is down a man. You really got to get up as quickly as possible, somewhere around here, as fast as you can. But I think he's kind of upset about the fact that there was no penalty call here. So he just kind of stays on the ice, and he's still on the ice. Now he's spinning on the ice while watching all of this, and he's still spinning. And while this is happening, the guy he needs to cover is going to go up the ice, receive this puck, and now it's too late to catch up to him. And they score. And you can see too, then he goes to the ref, he's kind of pointing up the ice, he's talking to the ref saying, look, I was stripped earlier, what happened? This is a common mistake that younger players make. So you know what? First of all, they were on a power play already. So the odds that a play like this gets called is just very low. And also on the ice, you can't just kind of stay on the ice hoping there's going to be a call. You got to get up and skate because things move too fast while you're on the ground. All right, here's an example where he just doesn't work hard enough on the boards. So the puck is over here, Kirby's over here heading towards it. What we're going to notice, he's going to come into this puck with just one hand on his stick and his body against the glass. Watch this. So he gets to it. He's only got one hand on his stick. You can see his other hand is right over here. And his body is up against the boards. That's not how you want to play this. Whenever you're going into the boards like this, you want obviously two hands on your stick and you want to protect the puck with your body. If you don't do that, watch what happens. This guy's just going to be able to dig it out. Digs it out. And they score. So he's a 6'4" player. He's really big. He's supposed to be a power forward. You just got to work harder in these corners. Protect the puck with your body. As an example, here's another play where in a different game where the player does it correctly. It's a very similar situations. You got a player over here and a guy coming on him with the puck coming across. And look, you just turn your body. You protect the puck. You're going to take a hit. It's not going to be something huge. You're going to be able to both absorb this hit and make a play at the same time, which is what he does. Now his team holds the puck. So that's kind of two categories. There were the backhanders, and then there were these plays where maybe he's not working hard enough. But I think the majority of the plays were actually fall more into the positional play category of sort of not taking the right guy or not going to the right player. These are the kinds of plays where you can really learn a lot by just watching lots of videos and learning from them. So here's one off a face-off. Kirby's over here. And so his job off the face-off as winger like this is to get to this defenseman. And this winger's job is to get to this defenseman. This D is to take this guy. So let's watch it forward and see what happens. Okay, now you got a decision to make because even though your guy is this guy, there is a forward here from the other team with a puck in a more dangerous scoring situations, and your D that's covering him is a bit behind. This is going to be pretty common. They're both kind of taking off from these two places, so your D is often going to be a little bit behind this guy if the puck goes and is won kind of softly to this winger. It's just kind of one of the known weaknesses of having like lining up a defenseman here and two forwards in front. There's some trade-offs if you do it the other way as well, but in this case, these plays are going to happen, so you got to decide, well, where do I go? Do I go to my D or do I go to this guy? And okay, he does the right play and says this is the most dangerous guy right now, so I will actually kind of try to interfere with him, try to block the shot, and he does that correctly. But now as soon as this guy makes a pass, which is what he's doing, your guy is still the one over here, right? Your D is following him and he's caught up to him. This guy's going over here. Everyone's doing their job. So you've got to go and find this guy right away. And it takes a little bit too long. He took kind of a long turn this way, sort of followed this guy a little bit. And now he sees, oh, right, this is my guy. And he'll end up getting there just a little bit too late. And there's a goal. So it was a good play by them. But defensively, now you need to know that this is a thing that can happen. You got to get to your point man as quickly as possible. Here's another one where defensively, you're going to see Kirby sort of just coast all the way from here, all the way to the spot where he should be. So watch this. He hasn't taken a stride yet. Still hasn't taken a stride. Okay, now at this point, Kirby's over here, and you got to identify that this is kind of dangerous for your team. There are two guys pressuring your two guys. So your job is to get here as fast as possible and give your guys an outlet. Give them a pass with this. Give them somewhere where they can pass. So he comes in, still hasn't skated yet. All right, now the problem is that somebody else from the other team has managed to come in, so it's not an easy pass to your team anymore. So your guy in the corner is just kind of going to have a big battle and has got to eat it because he can't pass it to you. All right, now at this stage, because of this, it is no longer your team's puck, right? Which means your job is absolutely to be on this side of the play. You can't be on the wrong side of your guy anymore. It's not even your team's puck. Your now job is to both go and give support to your players as well as prevent this guy from doing anything. And Kirby's still coasting. He coasts all the way up to kind of the side of the boards. Had he gotten up here a long time ago, maybe this would have been okay, but he got there so slowly that now the play has changed and puck support is now provided by this guy. Gets it and scores. You got to get to your spot as quickly as possible so that you can help your teammates who have the puck make an easy play. All right, over here, we now have kind of a 2-on-1. Basically, we have Kirby over here, and the defenseman's been beat by his player. So what happens here is essentially you got to cover these two guys, and you got to play like a 2-on-1. And Kirby starts correctly by actually playing it like a 2-on-1. So he's kind of in between the two. He's got a stick in between. He's covering both guys. And everything's fine so far. Okay, and at this point, he's still doing the right thing. So he's got his stick in this lane. He's trying to kind of cover both guys, taking a look who's going to go where. But right here, he decides to turn and fully commit to the puck carrier. And the puck carrier is actually not the most dangerous player right now. Look at him. He's on his backhand. He's really far kind of on. His angle to the net isn't great. He doesn't have a way to cut in that great. He's got a defenseman pressuring him. So the most dangerous is actually here. So continuing to play this on a 2-on-1 was the right play. But by letting go of his guy, he just leaves the guy completely open in the front, and they score. Here we're going to have a shot that misses the net, and Kirby's over here. And now, when there's a shot like this that misses the net, you've got to read the play and go, who am I covering? Okay, so what do you see? Well, what does Kirby see? He sees that there are two defensemen on his team down low that are both going kind of towards this. There's one guy from the other team, and there's another one coming here. So there's going to be two guys from our side and two guys from their side all going towards the corner. And there's a guy completely alone in front. That's the guy you got to cover. The guy in front's the most dangerous. But instead, he just kind of slowly curls this way, and he's basically watching the puck. Everybody's watching the puck in this play, and just leaving this guy completely open. Puck makes it there, and he scores. And, yeah, that's the face of a guy who knows he just missed his coverage. I think we've all been there. So those are kind of examples of the plays where Kirby just kind of took the wrong guy, missed the wrong guy. While looking at these, another reason why he was kind of minus 29 like this is because he also plays with teammates who make these kinds of mistakes. And so that makes just the line a little bit weak when it comes to defensive play. So in this example, this is line A, and at this stage, he's covering his guy. Got a guy covering him. Guy covering him. Everything's good so far. And watch what he does though. He's covering his guy, and then he just lets him go. Leaves him completely alone in front to, I guess, go to the corner. But this guy's already covered. So now we got a guy completely alone in front, and there's a goal. So that's a -1 for Kirby because he was on the ice, kind of up the ice, changing. But it's one of those things where if your teammates have defensive weaknesses and you have some as well, those kind of compound, and you get a lot of negatives. And finally, here's another one. So we have Kirby here, we have Line A here. They're fighting for the puck in the corner. We had 3 guys versus 2. Okay, so we lose this battle. That's not great when you're 3 versus 2, but okay, that's fine. You recover from that. Let's take a look. Okay, so at this stage, what we have is, we have one guy who's covered this way, one guy who's covered this way. So Kirby, who's over here, his job is going to be to cover him, and Line is covering him. We've got to cover here. So everything should be okay. And you see Kirby's actually pointing, and I'm not sure what he's saying. Maybe he's communicating to line A to try to take this guy. I'm not sure, but like, this is the one you want to take. He's the one that's the closest. He's the one that's in the best position to score. So should be sticking with him. But watch what happens. He just skates by him and lets him go. While still, now he's pointing at the blue line, I guess. And at the same time, you know, line A went from over here to over here. So that's not a great defensive path. You usually want to be cutting a lot more this way whenever you're in the zone. You know, when the other team has the puck, you don't want to be kind of near the boards and staying towards the boards. You want to be cutting a little bit more. So that means we now have a guy completely alone in front. Kirby's still pointing this way, and I guess he's heading towards the point, but this is the wrong choice. You already had two guys that were up high. You know, you have one that was covering him and one that was going to be able to cover here. So you really don't want to be up here. You know, you got to take this guy. And now this guy's completely alone, gets the puck and scores. So these are some quick examples of the types of plays that resulted in goals that we can learn from. There were kind of a few categories, the backhand passes that were getting intercepted, sort of not playing hard enough, and then mostly they were kind of positional plays, or just taking the wrong guy at the wrong time. If you're a Habs fan, you want to see your team improve, send this video to Marty and Kirby. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button, and let me know in the comments if you want me to do this for another player. All right, thank you very much. I'll see you next time.